Hey guys, welcome to the video. Today I've got something very special because it's all about how to meet girls in bars and clubs. As you can see, we've taken over the whole nightclub, we've kicked out all of the guys and all of the ugly girls, and I'm going to be sharing my very best tips for how to go out to a bar, to a club and be successful with girls. So make sure you watch to the very end because I'm going to be sharing a lot of my favorite stuff. So here we are, I'm with my good friend Alex, and it's actually quite a realistic situation because the person I've been out most with to bars and clubs is this man right here, Alex. Now, we're very different to the average guys, but we see a lot of the average guys when they're out, and they tend to kind of stand like that, and they're kind of, you know, checking out where are the girls like that, looking around. They look quite creepy, they look quite bored, and if a girl walks past, they'll be kind of like this, like, you know, plotting and scheming about how to talk to the girl. And that's, you know, maybe if she doesn't see it, you might think it's okay, but there's always other girls in the place. And even girls that are behind, they'll notice when guys are doing things that are very obvious. So me and Alex, we try and do things a little bit different and stand out. We're facing each other, we're talking, we're having fun, we're always smiling, we've always got a good vibe about us, we're joking, we might be making fun of people or something like that. Whatever it is, making jokes about different things, talking about what's going on. And if a girl is there, we don't pay too much attention to her. We notice her, but we don't pay too much attention. But we have this nice vibe between us. And what normally happens is when girls come and they're choosing a place to stand, they're not freaked out, you know, by us. So they're happy to kind of stand by us at the bar. So we're normally surrounded by a bunch of girls even before we start doing anything. So guys, bear that in mind when you come into a place and you're thinking about how to behave when you're with your friends. Okay, so what I want to demonstrate here is, you know, approachability of girls. So if a girl is single, she's going to behave in a certain way, and if she's got a boyfriend, she's a lesbian, or she's catching up with her friend that she hasn't seen for 10 years, she's going to behave a little bit differently. So these girls have positioned themselves close to the wall, so you can't kind of creep in there and talk to them. The girl on this side has her back turned, and there's very little space between them, and they're involved in a, you know, an intimate conversation. So they're difficult to talk to. Girls standing like this, like I said, less easy to approach. Doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. I'm going to show you how you could do it later, but if you're doing your first approach, if you're a little bit nervous, you probably want to start with something a little bit easier. At the other end of the scale, you've got girls that are kind of presenting themselves, they're more available, they're probably single, they want guys to talk to them, and they will be, you know, facing outwards. They'll still be talking to each other, but they'll be looking around, you know, a guy comes in there, a guy's walking there, and they'll kind of notice him. So they're aware of people in the room, they're looking out for new guys that are coming in, and they might hold eye contact, they might smile, and these would be the girls that would be more approachable. Like I said, it's up to you if you want to approach difficult girls or girls that are going to be more receptive, but start to be aware when you're kind of out and about the girls that would be more and less approachable. So one of the pieces of advice that I always give to guys is they shouldn't just, you know, stand in the whole place, in the same place the whole night. That's because you want an opportunity to walk around the bar, the club, to get a chance to see all of the girls that might be there, that you might want to talk to. But also, when you're walking around, you have lots of opportunities to start interactions. When you're passing someone, it's a natural situation to just notice something, to start a conversation, to cheers with them or whatever. And too many guys that I've been out with that haven't had, you know, lots of training, they walk, when they're in a place, they walk very quickly, like they've got to get somewhere. So there's the pretty girls there, but they'll be walking through and they're just looking down or they're looking ahead, and they walk at such a pace that they don't have a chance to spark any situations with the girls. So even if they walk through and a girl was smiling at them and they might say, oh, I think that girl liked me, but the time it's happened, he's already way past. So it sounds really, really simple, but one of the major pieces of advice that I give guys is that when they're walking around a bar or a club, they walk slowly and they make eye contact with everyone. So they've got some time to catch the eyes of a girl and they're judging just from that few seconds of eye contact, you know, is she smiling, is she receptive, is she interested? If you have eye contact and immediately she looks away, it's a big difference to if you have that eye contact and she maybe smiles and she's a little bit shy, or she just holds the eye contact and smiles. If you've got one of of those situations and you're walking slowly and you're getting that good eye contact, you could just say cheers, or you could just step in and say, hey, how's it going? And you say, oh, cool iPhone case, look at this, and have a look at that. And you know, you find something that you can start the interaction with. If you're just racing around, you don't have the opportunity to do that. So very small point, but it should double the amount of, you know, attention and IOIs that you get if you just walk around smoothly and try and make eye contact with everyone as you walk through the bar. You're not holding it for long because you're walking and you're breaking it from one girl to the next, breaking to the side, so it doesn't look nervous even when you break eye contact. I always like to start an interaction where possible from a distance and non-verbally. It gives the chance to get an honest reaction from the girl, and it also deals with situations very well where you're not sure, you know, there's a girl or maybe two girls and there's a guy and you're not sure if they're together, or there's a group of girls and you don't want to bust in there. And in situations like that, it's always good to start non-verbally. So I will try and get the attention of the girl, and once I've got her attention, I'll raise my drink like that. And if I haven't got a drink, you know, I might wave or something like that, or I might just look at her in a way that generates a response, and I'm looking for a smile. If she smiles, I've then got the opportunity to go around and talk to her. If she's shy, you know, I can judge it like that. And if she's, you know, with this guy and she's got a boyfriend, then I'll know from her response, because she'll be a little bit like, oh, you know, I don't want my boyfriend to see me looking at this guy, so I'm going to look away. So you can tell a lot just from, you know, provoking that response without going all the way around to the other side of the bar and busting in on, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5 people that are in a group. One of the things that I use to start interactions with girls is actually opening with a touch. And when girls are in this situation at a bar, a lot of guys, you know, freak girls out. They can sometimes come like this, hello, hello, like that. And it's horrible, it doesn't feel nice when someone, hello, hello. Girls never like it. Or the guy kind of comes in, girls, and it's too close, it's too intense. So not a good way to do it. The way I would do it in this situation is to come in, and I'm going to use a very gentle touch on the shoulder. So I'm going to touch like here and say, hey guys, and then step back. So I come close and then step back. And the touch is very gentle. It's kind of a guiding touch, and it's the kind of touch your friend does, you know, when, you know, he goes away and then comes back and he kind of touches you gently on the shoulder just to say he's there. So you can even do this. So when the girls are facing away, and you can come in and you could say something like, hey Maria, oh sorry, I thought you were my friend Maria. Anyway, I'm Richard, nice to meet you, like this. And you can use that because it's a very familiar touch, the kind of touch that a friend would do. It's a very light hand, barely touching, barely any weight, but she turns around with it because she feels it. And it's something that is a familiar touch in our lives that friends only do with us. So you can try that, it's opening with a touch. Right, so we've got some girls dancing now, not very enthusiastically, but you get the point. And if girls are on the dance floor, you know, how do you approach them? So I'm chilling here, and the first thing that I would try and do, look like I'm enjoying dancing. So I can't kind of come to the girls like this and kind of creep in and I'm not enjoying the music. I need to kind of match their mood. So the DJ is here and I'm kind of facing the DJ and I'm dancing like this as well. And then what I want to do is I want to get some girls' attention while I'm dancing. So if I'm interested in this girl, I want to be dancing, and then I kind of want to look and get her attention like that and have some non-verbal communication with her to start with. And then I would go back to dancing like this. If it was this girl, I would want to be kind of facing over there, just dancing, but after a little while I'm kind of just get her attention for a second and go back to dancing like that. And again, I'm looking for that response. You've got those few seconds where she can smile or she can just look away in disgust. You know, usually it's something more in the middle towards the positive, but you're going to be dancing close to them, not focusing on them at all, not trying to be creepy and be close to them without enjoying the music, but trying to match their mood. And that's the first step. The second thing is that once you've got the positive response, you might want to come in and just say, hey, I'm Richard, and introduce yourself like that, what's your name, and like that, and just a very quick interaction, take their name, and then go back and be dancing from a distance, but more facing each other. And you want to see if she turns away from her friends a little bit and she starts to face you, and if she does, that's a good sign. But you haven't kept the pressure on, you're not trying to have a conversation on the dance floor, shouting, you know, where you can't hear each other, you're just dancing like that, and you're looking for the eye contact, you're looking for that, she's facing you, and then again you can come in and you can can say something a little bit, but better if you can just start dancing with her a little bit. And the way I would do it is I'd get closer and be dancing, and then I'd just present my hands like this, and I'm looking for her to take them, and then we just do this silly dance. So obviously you won't have my amazing dance moves, but you should be able to do something like this. A lot of girls like it when you spin them, so you can work that into it, where you just lift your hand up, and most girls know how to do it, and then you can go back to doing this. You don't want to let things get too intense, so you might let her hands drop again and go back to just dancing at a distance, and then after a little while you can come back in again and you can start dancing again like this. And then once she's comfortable with you, this is something you wouldn't do immediately, but after a little while you can take your hand and put it just at the back of her elbow and pull her hand so that she takes you here and you take her here, and now you're dancing much closer and much more intimately. When you're in a club and the music is pumping really hard, normally the dancing is quite fast, the dance floor is really noisy, so you have a few choices. At this stage, when you're kind of you've got a good connection with the girl and she's liking you, you can wait for the right moment. So girls are in heels, they get tired when they're dancing for too long. Also sometimes the music changes and the track's not good, so you're kind of dancing and you're like, oh no, I hate this track, let's go get a drink, and you say, let's go somewhere, let's go get a drink, let's go and smoke, and then you've got an opportunity to move her away from the dance floor to somewhere that is not so noisy, where you can have a conversation. If you stay on the dance floor, like I said, you start like this, you can get closer, you've got this eye contact, it can be nice and seductive, and you've got the opportunity to escalate from that point. If she's with her friends, her friends might interrupt at some time, but you can always dance, join the group and be kind of with them and dancing together with them. That'll be fine if you're with a friend as well. But it's always good to start things non-verbally from a distance, smoothly come in, back off a bit, come in some more, sense how things are going, and then suggest you leave the dance floor or join the friends, stay there for a bit, escalate on the dance floor. Lots of different options, but the whole thing is not to have too much communication, keep it non-verbal, maybe just exchange names and nothing else, and wait until you go somewhere more quiet to continue the conversation. So something to remember is that girls always like to laugh and have fun, and there's not enough fun when they go out to bars and clubs, and Alex has some moves that always make them laugh and make them smile. He does this Michael Jackson thing and he shows girls that, and he does this twerking thing when he does that into them. And when he does this stuff, the girls always laugh, they respond well, and then he can just introduce himself. So if I'm walking, yeah, he does this, and the electrocution one you do as well. And the one where you actually get electrocuted. Bzz, like that, he's getting electrocuted. So Alex has all these moves where he's walking through, the music's playing, the girls are dancing, and then he's got 5, 10, 20 different moves that he will do when the girls are dancing, having fun, that makes them smile and react well, and then right after that he turns deadly serious and introduces himself and has a conversation and then starts being funny again. But remember, people want to be fun, so try stupid stuff. If it makes you smile and your friends laugh, then it's going to be something that would probably work on girls. So there's different variations of groups when you're in a bar, different situations, and they can all be treated a little bit differently. If you're approaching girls and they're in a 3 and there's one that you want and it's the girl on the end, it's quite easy because you can just talk to the girl on the end and the other 2 after a while will just start to speak to each other, and so you don't really have to engage the whole group. So if it's this girl or this girl, no problem. If it's the girl in the middle, you actually need to talk to the whole group. So you need to talk to the whole group, spread your attention to each one. It's very important, if I want to talk to the girl in the middle, that this girl likes me and this girl likes me, so that when I want to talk to her, they don't drag her away. To get her out of the group, I'm going to need to use some tricks, and they can be used, if you want to isolate a girl in any situation. So I could say, hang on, what colour are your eyes? Come into the light, let me see better, or something like that. Some excuse to get her out what shoes, let me see, you know, check out her shoes, her watch, something like that, to move her out of the group to here, and then I'm going to move her away so it's just me and her, and the rest of the girls can talk to each other. If it's 3 girls, 4 girls, 5 girls, it's all the same, because when you talk to one, the rest of the group can, you know, hang out with each other, and it's not going to be a problem. The hardest is actually when it's 2 girls. If you're approaching 2 girls and they're friends, I can't just say, okay, let's go, leave her alone, you know, because if they're good friends, girls like to stick together. So I need to talk to both of the girls, be nice to them, but give most of my attention to the one I like. But involve the other one sometimes. So I'm asking, you know, where she's from. Oh, you know, do you guys know each other from university or whatever it is? Bring her into the conversation from time to time, so she doesn't get bored, so that she likes me, so that she doesn't drag her friend away. If you get the impression that they want to talk to each other, they haven't seen each other for a long time, it might be the situation to just get her number and then leave them to it. If you've got a friend, then you can, you know, both talk to them, that's no problem. But in the best situation, you would be talking to this one and the friend leaves and, you know, goes to the bathroom or something like that to give you a chance to talk. If she does that, then you're in a fantastic situation. If not, and it's 2 girls alone and they won't leave each other, it's either best to, you know, if you're alone, you're not with a friend, it's probably best to just go for the number. But if it's 3 girls, 4 girls, 5 girls, then you can always just talk to one and leave the rest to talk to themselves. Use get an IOI from a distance, or just approach the girl on the side, or talk to the whole group and take the one that you want out of the group. Let's talk a little bit about wingmanship. So ideally, if you're speaking to 2 girls, you're going to be with your buddy and you're going to follow a few rules. So when you're speaking as a group, come and meet the girls, Alex. It's very good if one guy starts the interaction, goes to speak to both of the girls, and then his friend comes in. When his friend comes in, he shouldn't pay too much attention to his friend, you know, get into a private conversation, but also they shouldn't be talking as a group. It's very important that very quickly the guys peel off and each take one girl. So we might be speaking as a group, and then I'll say something like, oh, those are nice earrings that you've got, and I start talking to this girl, and at the same time Alex starts talking to his girl, and we have a situation where we're not in front of the girls anymore, we're to the side, I'm facing my girl, she starts to turn around and just be facing me, he's with his girl and she's facing him. And what this means is, if we start having a boring part of the conversation where I'm like, and it becomes really boring, she looks at her friend, have a look at these 2, they're having a lot of fun. So even if our conversation's boring, she doesn't run away, she stays and she stays talking to me. If we're talking as a group and one of the girls gets bored, it's much more easy for her friend to see, and they can drag the other one away. But like this, it can't happen. So remember, don't talk too much as a group, don't talk too much to the guy that's with you. One of the guys should approach first and the other one comes in, and then just quickly introduce, and then you want to peel away and take the girl that you're interested in, and he takes the girl that he's interested in. So when I'm out with Alex, it has an effect on what the girls think of me by what he says about me. So sometimes in the past he's tried to destroy it, but it's been really funny. So he's introduced me as what? Yeah.
Well, sometimes I make a big joke out of it, like say, this is Richard, he's like a child murderer, he steals child's souls, he's a murderer, don't talk to him, sort of thing. But in a funny way, obviously. Paedophile, child murderer.
Local bender.
Yeah, the local bender one as well. But in a funny way, you remember that, in a funny way.
Like, so he'll say stuff like that, it's happened a few times, but then it's like my chance to turn it around. But that's only when he's like angry with me and wants to annoy me or something. No, it's only when he's being playful. But most of the time, something he does is really good, because he's always being silly and joking, but then sometimes I'll leave the girl that I like with him, and I'll, go off to the toilet or go to meet another girl or something for 20 minutes.
Yeah, and then I say
come
just
back,
good things.
And while I'm not there, what do you say?
Rich is such a lovely guy, such a cool guy. Well
and
done
this
for me.
Honest face. Do that to the camera. That honest, sincere face you do.
1-800. But honestly speaking, that's exactly what I've always done. When you go to the toilet, I'll do the joke stuff first.
Yeah.
When you get to the bathroom, then I'll do like the cool, real stuff. He's such a lovely guy, super genuine, blah blah blah. and then they come back thinking, well, hold on, what just happened? Sort of thing. So it's all cool.
It has a lot more effect when it's someone else talking about you. Obviously, I can't say, oh, hi, I'm a very nice guy. You can't do that. But when Alex does it, people believe it for that reason because it's someone else saying it. But people believe it for another reason because Alex always joking, ha ha ha. And then he's like, no, but in all seriousness.
Yeah. And the serious face.
And he does this serious face and he's talking about me in a nice way. And then he goes back to joking. Yeah. But because it's 90% of the time he has this joking face, and then he's like, but really, Richard is really.
Yeah, of course.
And he
does always works. It always works.
And they're like, oh, really? And I come back and they're really.
So they hate you when they meet you because of the stupid jokes. They find it all funny. They come back, then they're in love with you.
And I always notice when I come back, it's a lot warmer because of the things that Alex have been saying. So if you have the opportunity with your wingman to just take a minute and have some, some story with an example of a good character trait of his that you can say, then it's going to be really powerful and it's going to help your mate. So that's how to be a good wingman when you're out with someone that you're good friends with.
Very true.
And you all do get more girls if you act like that.
100%.
So we've got the girl that we're interested in, and a lot of guys have this stupid situation where they talk for a minute and the girl's really interested. She's sexy, she's maybe had some drinks, and the guy's like, okay, nice speaking to you, give me your number, and runs away. So let's talk a little bit about escalation. When you first approach the girl, the old mystery method thing is you're going to be over your shoulder, you're going to be to the side, and that's true if the girl is very shy. Yeah, you can do that. But in most cases, you're going to be quite close, there's going to be music playing, so you might have to lean in from time to time. And we're going to talk about how the touch escalates. Touching with the palm of the hand is always more intense than with the back of the hand. So if I'm talking, they can go all the way down the arm, even to the hand, and even on the front of the leg, the front of the hip, and in this area as well. If she's a girl and she's with her friends or a guy in the group and she doesn't want to show that she's doing too much with you, it's a very good touch to do that hand to hand because it's quite intimate, and we can be playing like that, but we can have serious faces and we're just talking like that and no one can see it, but we've got this contact here that is quite intimate. It's something that you don't do with friends. So we've got all of these simple touches with the back of the hand, and then the next kind that you've got is when you're getting a little bit closer. So you're talking in the ear, you're saying something, and you have an opportunity to touch her here, touch her on the head, and also touch her with your leg as you're leaning in. So you've got that full body contact of her all the way like that. In the beginning, your leg's on the outside, and later on it can even be on the inside, which is way more intimate. In a situation where you've been speaking for some time, you've gone through the preliminary touches, being closer and holding hands, pausing for a minute, having the eye contact, looking at the lips, moving the hair out of the way. All of these things will escalate it. And of course you've also got playful touches, so with a girl that has her boobs showing, I might take a step back and then someone pushes me and I pretend to touch her, something like this. Or I could have a drink in my hand and I could just be talking to her and I'm drinking my drink, and every time I drink my drink I'm kind of touching her. And in the beginning she might think it's by accident, and then she realizes what I'm doing, but I've got this smile, this cheeky face, so I get away with it. You don't want to stay in one place too long as well, so be here talking like this, and then you can move to the dance floor. You can lead her and walk through like this, or you can hold her hand and walk through, and when you're holding the hand you can kind of stroke it and touch it in different ways to be more intimate, changing the way that you hold the hand. Finally, when it gets to the point when you're going to kiss her, a few different things that would make that last possible moment as intense as possible is to kind of hold both hands, to be close, to have the touch now more lingering. It's still soft, but it's maybe lingering and stroking, and you touch her around the neck and around the back of the head, and you're getting closer and closer, and you pause and you're not speaking, and finally you kiss each other. So it's leading up to it smoothly. A lot of guys, they don't touch at all and they're just thinking about kissing the girl, and then they kind of jump in. It's much nicer to do it in a smooth way. Lots of funny, stupid, playful things as well that I do we've got this huge glass, but imagine it's the girl's drink and she's there like that, and I might say, oh, hang on a minute, don't drink it yet, let me just do something. There you go, like this, here you go, drink please, like that. Lots of stupid things like that I do that are quite extreme and playful, usually get a good reaction. I can get away with it, it's worked every time that I've done it, but maybe you want to play it by ear and not always do it. So that's how you escalate, again, starting with touches, you know, from a distance, the back of the hand, move into the hand, move into the front of the leg, moving more to be face to face, keeping that solid eye contact, moving the touches from here and then up closer to the face, around the back and in these areas, stepping in closer, having that contact between your legs, and those are the ways you can escalate all the way through the touch to the point where you actually kiss.